Hello and welcome back to Democracy, everybody. Welcome back to Helldivers 2, where today we're going to be doing another tier list just of my favorite things. Today we're going to be going over the Orbitals, and we're also going to be going over the Eagle airstrikes. We're going to be going over all the red stratagems today. And this is just going to be ranked on how fun that I think these are personally. So this isn't really taking into account how great these are. I will mention that as we go along these. And for this, I'm going to be using my tier list right here, which has our good old Super Earth Savior. These are my favorite stratagems to be using. We have good old fun. Just stratagems that I generally like that are usually pretty good, but maybe don't have as much flair as the top one. We have fine, which is just kind of ones that I feel okay about, anything that I don't have a strong opinion on. And then we have underwhelming. I wouldn't really say that any of these stratagems are bad, because basically all the stratagems in Helldivers can be pretty good under specific conditions. Feel free to tell me your opinions down in the comments below, because there's bound to be different opinions on all of these. So let's go over the Eagle stratagems first, where first up we have the Eagle strafing run. This one is really fun, and it's really good too. I would say for me personally, I'm going to put this one up into the good old fun. Now, I would say this one is probably the best Eagle overall. It is really good. You can get it at level 1, which is kind of crazy. It has like 5 uses, at least when it's fully maxed out. Even when it's not, you get like 4 of them. It's just a strafing run where the Eagle goes right in front of it, deals high damage to everything, has heavy armor pen on that shot. Really good. It comes up really fast, and you can use it really often. If I'm running one Eagle, it's likely this one. Usually I only run like one Eagle, because otherwise multiple can be a little bit awkward. This one is really good for the crowd control, and it can be really good for the big targets. But I don't necessarily find it always the most fun or the most spectacular of the Eagles. I think there are some other ones that are a little bit more spectacular than this one. This one is just really consistent for doing a lot of damage, though. Next up, we have the Eagle Airstrike, also available level 1. And this one I would probably also put up into the good old fun. This one is just good, too. It's more destructive, well, potentially more destructive than the strafing run. It's better towards big targets, and it can actually close up, like, bug tunnels and factories a little bit easier. The strafing run can actually kill the factories pretty fast, and it can kill other objectives, like the Shrieker nests and stuff, pretty quick. But the Eagle Strike is pretty good for dealing with everything. It comes up pretty often. You don't get as many of them as you do with the strafing run, but it's still pretty good. Then we've got the cluster bombs. Cluster bombs, I think I'm also going to put up in good old fun. Cluster bombs are really fun too. The only problem with cluster bombs is that they do tend to get a lot of team kills or yourself killed. You do have to be throwing these out a bit further away because they do cover a really big area. They are fantastic for the crowd control though. That's like the one thing that they really excel at. And you do get, I think, 5 of these once they're maxed out, which is really good too. Napalm airstrike, I think I'd probably just put into the fine. Honestly, it sounds really cool, and dropping Napalm and going to the full fire build can be really cool. I do like this, combined with like the flame sentry. You have a flamethrower, you have fire armor. You have like the Orbital Napalm barrage, which is really cool too. This one I think is just kind of okay though. I don't find it to be as insane as some of the other things that you can do with fire. It's still good. It's still really good for the crowd control. It's particularly good on like bug and squid missions, since they're more susceptible to fire than like the bots are. The bots will die from fire too. It's just that there's usually not huge groups of bots that are running like towards you and running through the fire, where there can be with the squids and with the bugs. Then we have the Smoke Strike. Smoke Strike is going to be our first underwhelming one. Smoke Strike, even though it can be good, smoke is actually very useful in Helldivers. I just still don't really like it all that much. It's not my favorite stratagem. It doesn't feel as impactful as some of the other stratagems do. That's just kind of my preference towards smoke, though. Although it can be really good. I've had teammates on my team that have been able to do like all the primary objectives by themselves incredibly fast thanks to just abusing smoke. It is really good for doing that, and on certain missions it can make it so they aren't as bad as they would otherwise be. Especially once upon a time when we had that really annoying bot mission that was like evacuate everybody. And it was basically like you needed to have smokes and you needed to draw everything away while like one person actually did the objective and everybody else got to fight the bots. So at that point, like, smokes were really good, but still not my favorite. Then we have rockets. Rockets are also going to go into the underwhelming. Rockets are just too inconsistent for me, and they always disappoint me, because sometimes they can be really good. I think on like bot missions, they are really good. You can kill tanks really easily with these, and it usually hits things like the Factory Strider really well too. The problem is, though, is like when you take it on other fronts, and it just feels like it misses almost every time, or it does almost no damage. Like you have to use like 2 or 3 of these to kill a Titan, when it should just take like 1 of these. Same thing goes with like Chargers on the bug front. On the squid front, I've never really been a big fan of this. Like, it's okay for hitting like flesh mobs, but even then, sometimes it can miss. It can miss the harvesters too. So I don't really like that. I think it's the most consistent on the bot front. And even then, it's still like, I would rather take like the Eagle Airstrike over the bombs for kind of like the same job. So it's one of those ones that I really would like to be good. I would like it to be more consistent where it can be more guaranteed to kill big stuff. But so often it fails me and I'm disappointed in it. And I would really not want that to be happening as often. Then we have the 500. 500 is going to go up into Super Savior. Is it the best Eagle? I don't think so. I think the Eagle Airstrike and the Strafing Run are technically better than it. But this one is a whole lot more spectacular. It is very, very cool. This just drops a big old bomb, blows up everything in the area, does a ton of damage. It's super cool to watch. It can kill you. It's killed me plenty of times. It's really bad on like the jungle missions. Jungle missions, it's really, really difficult to be using this. In which case then like Strafing Run is a million times better on those missions. Or like the Napalm Strike is pretty good, or even Cluster Bombs are better. Just because you can at least knock down the forest without killing yourself, so that's cool. The 500 kg is also better once you have the upgrades to your ship where you get 2 of these. If you only have the 1 of these, it is kind of rough. It is a very cool stratagem, but you only throw it out and then it blows up something. And at that point, you could take like the Precision Strike. I feel like that would kind of just be better since it has a shorter cooldown and it does kind of the same job or a similar job. It doesn't have as big of an AoE. But, I mean, I would rather take that over this if I only get the 1. If you get the 2, though, very good, very fun. You can kind of spam these out and blow up like entire areas with them. Alright, then we move on to the Orbitals, where first up we have the Orbital Gatling Barrage, which the Gatling Barrage, I would say is probably good old fun. The Gatling Barrage is pretty good. It's very solid for the crowd control. It comes up incredibly fast. It has like a 70-second cooldown on it or something like that, so you can spam this one out pretty often. Really good on bugs and really good on squids. Can be pretty decent on bots as well, but like if bugs are spawning, you can just throw this right where they're spawning. You'll kill the majority of the small ones thanks to this. You can even kill some of the big ones, since this does have heavy armor pen, or up to heavy armor pen. The Gatling Barrage is a little bit weird on the damage that it can deal. It can be a little bit frustrating when it ends up walking itself towards you. That's the only sort of problem with it, but that usually doesn't happen unless you're throwing this like directly at your feet and then trying to run away, and you got unlucky and the first shot happened to hit you. That's pretty bad then. You're probably going to die at that point, but other than that, like a very fun strategy. Then we have the Orbital Airburst. This one I'm probably going to put in the fine. It is really cool. I don't think it's as good as the Gatling Barrage. It's more spectacular though. So there is kind of that factor to it, which is pretty cool. But so often I find that this just doesn't do very much towards like bigger enemies. It usually is just best for clearing up crowds, which again can be good on like bugs and squids, especially if you throw it at a choke point. This just throws down a bunch of shrapnel on them. It is really cool then. I do like it there, but not always my favorite. It does come up super often though, so that's another bonus. Then we have the 120 Barrage. 120 Barrage I'd probably put in the good old fun. It is a really fun stratagem. It's a very strong stratagem too. It comes up very often and it's really good for knocking out basically anything. Like if you throw this at a bot area, you throw it at a bug area or around like some Illuminate ships, there's a good chance that it just clears up everything there. It does really well. I think it's probably the best overall of the barrages like this, out of like this, the Walking Barrage, the 380. I think this one is the most consistent, as well as it comes up the most often, so you can just use it the most. Those are very cool things, but it doesn't have as big of an impact as like the 380s. The 380s are more spectacular than this. It can feel a bit more satisfying to use them, and for that I think I'd put the 380s probably also in good old fun, because you are more likely to kill yourself with this one and teammates with this. That's the only problem with the 380, and it doesn't come up super quick. Is it satisfying to knock out entire facilities with this? Yes, absolutely. It's very, very fun. But it can be a little bit annoying too at times, where it just doesn't hit where you would like it to. So yeah, I think I just put it there. I think I'm actually going to put up Walking Barrage into Super Savior, weirdly enough. I do really love the Walking Barrage. It's very fun. It can be very consistent too once you get used to it. I remember when I first started using the Walking Barrage, I did not like it very much because I kept hitting myself with it, because usually I would toss this not too far away from me, then run towards it without really thinking that it's going to be landing about where I threw it, and then it's going to walk towards the enemy. It's really good on certain fronts though. It's really good on the bots, and it's really good on the Illuminate, because so often they just have factories or Illuminate ships lined up in a row that you can just throw this down and this will just cover you as you just pick off like everything as you kind of go. It's really good for forward advancing. It's a really, really cool stratagem, and it comes up pretty often. It also is technically only like a 2-button input, since you just push the same 2 buttons like 8 times or whatever, so that's kind of a bonus. You don't have to remember very much. Then we've got the Space Laser. Space Laser, I don't know where I want to put Space Laser. I think I'm going to put Space Laser up into Super Savior too. Space Laser is really strong. You don't only get 3 of them. That is the major downside if you're going on longer missions and the mission is actually taking quite a while to complete. Space Laser can be a little bit disappointing because you probably already used up all 3 of them, and this is probably the least satisfying stratagem to use if you use it like to hit one enemy. It's really bad for that. Like if you thought there was more enemies, or you thought this would at least target more enemies that were a little bit further away, and then it sits out in the field and just burns a hole into the ground, it is really disappointing. Like, that can be super underwhelming for the Space Laser. When it works, though, when it takes out, like, basically an entire, like, area full of enemies and all their objectives, it's very satisfying, though. And it can be really good on certain missions. Like, any of the hold the point area missions, this one can be really good. It can definitely, like, clutch a win out of that, since it can just go around and kill everything, where most other stratagems wouldn't be able to do that. The Space Laser can be uniquely powerful, too. So, really high highs, also potentially low lows with this one. It's very fun, though. Orbital Napalm Barrage is probably also going to go up into good old fun. It's a very fun stratagem. I've lit myself on fire plenty of times with this, killed teammates plenty of times with this. That's the only downside to this and the other barrages. This one is probably the most spectacular out of the barrages, though. Just covering an entire area with fire feels really good. It's really cool when this one actually shows up as the free stratagem too, where you might get that on missions and then you have like 2 of them and you can just cover an entire area with fire. Or if your whole team does that, you can just have like 8 firestorms coming down on everything. Really cool. Is it as good as like the 120 and the 380? I think it depends. If you want more crowd control, then yeah. If you want more like destruction, you want to actually be pushing objectives and stuff, I think like the 120 is better than this. Next we have the Orbital Railcannon. Railcannon I'd probably put as fine. This one is like another one where you just toss it out and it functions very similar like the Space Laser, where it does do a lot of damage and it can be super useful, especially since it got buffed to where it no longer has the 240 second cooldown, it's only 180, which is good, and it's also really good against the dragons. This can one-shot the dragons, and it's one of the more consistent stratagems to be hitting them out of the air with. It's like this and the spear got a whole lot better because of that. It's not always the most satisfying, though, because this is just kind of a, you toss it out and it auto-targets to something. Is it cool looking? Yeah. Is it very strong? Yeah. But is it super satisfying? I don't think it's as satisfying as some other stratagems. It's kind of weird, though, because I put the Space Laser higher, and it's like the Space Laser kind of does the same thing, but there's something more about a Space Laser that's just cutting through the ground and everything, more so than like a single shot that just snipes off something. Then we have the Orbital Precision Strike. This is the very first stratagem that you get, because this one is free, and this one I had also put up into Super Savior. This one is extremely satisfying to use. It comes up super often. This thing has like a 90-second cooldown on it. It's even shorter with like upgrades. You can just toss this out. It can one-shot almost anything in the game. Like, the only things it really can't are like Factory Strider and like Hive Lord, and that's it. Everything else you can kill with this, and it is a skill shot essentially. You have to throw this out and you have to land it close enough to an enemy to where this can kill it, or close enough to a structure. This is really good for knocking out structures too. Like, the Precision Strike is just very fun, and it's really solid for, like, a starting stratagem. Orbital Gas Strike, I would also probably put up into Super Savior, mostly because you can use it very similar to the Precision Strike, because it does actually have impact damage on it, which is pretty cool. It doesn't have as much as, like, the Precision Strike, but Gas Strike is super satisfying to use. It comes up incredibly often, has, like, a 75-second cooldown on it. You can get this one at level 1 too, and it confuses all enemies in the area, which is great. It's also fairly safe to be using around yourself and your team. Sometimes you'll die if you get knocked down or if you're at low health. The poison can take down and kill you kind of quick, but a lot of the time you can actually run right through without too much problems. Even more so if you have like stims, you should be fine then. Or if you have gas-proof armor or any of the other armors that give you some elemental resistance. Then we got the Orbital EMS Strike. This one I'm going to put probably into the underwhelming too. It's not a bad stratagem by any means. It comes up super often, which is fantastic. It only has a 75-second cooldown, the same as the Gas Strike, but it's nowhere near as cool as the Gas Strike, and it doesn't do nearly as much damage. It's mostly there as like a non-lethal option, so it's safe to be throwing this absolutely anywhere. You can't really kill teammates with it, at least directly. You might slow them down enough to where they die, but that's the only way that they're actually going to die. It's good if you just want to be getting used to like the stratagems and kind of getting a general idea of where like the AoE is going to hit, how long it takes for them to actually like drop onto that target. And again, like, the slowdown can be pretty nice. It's not bad for, like, hold the area missions, but it's never really been one of my favorites. And then we have the Smoke Strike. Again, another one that I'm probably going to put into the maybe I'd put this one into the fine now. It did get buffed, and it is better. I do like this one more so than like the Eagle. I just like the visual of this a lot more. It does kind of have that going for it. Again, pretty short cooldown at 100 seconds. So that's kind of nice. Smoke, once again, can be abused. It can be pretty strong under the right conditions. So yeah, I think I'd probably just put it in the fine category. And this is where I'd put all the offensive stratagems and Helldivers as to how fun they are to me. Again, super subjective list. I would love to hear what you guys have to say, though. Which ones would you put where? Pretty sure, like, the Napalm Strike's going to go higher for a lot of people. Because, personally, for me, I think it's okay. But I know a lot of people really love it, especially on fire builds. I also feel like the walking barrage is going to go a little bit lower for people, too. Just because not everybody likes using that one. We'll also be doing the defensive stratagems this way. And I'll also be doing, like, the backpacks and, like, the mechs and stuff. Since we didn't cover that in the support weapons. Those have also been requested. So be on the lookout for them. Thank you guys so very much for watching this. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.